Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to the internet, and welcome back to Redneck Radio. We're back. The live,
Yeah.
yeah, the live stream where you get an extra healthy side helping today of fried potatoes and good old American biscuits and gravy. Ah,
There you go.
sounds good to me. Yeah, it
Mm.
seems like it's been forever, and I only skipped one stream. Sorry about that, guys, but it was what it was. But
Family comes first, mate. Family comes first.
it does, but I really, really wanted to stream. I just was too tired to pull it off. But before I forget, with me as always is Ari Bear.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're well on this glorious Thursday.
Yeah. I know the weather's not, it's hotter than crap outside. Oh my gosh. You step outside the door and it's like, oh my God, I'm going back in.
It's very muggy here.
Oh, it's
Very, very muggy.
it's very muggy and very hot here. It's near 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that would be Celsius, but that's hot.
Very hot.
Yes.
Very, very hot.
Hey, Michael Weiner.
Hey, Michael.
But yeah, about Tuesday. Sorry about missing Tuesday, guys. It is what it is. And thanks for everybody's support on Twitter. I'm sorry for those that didn't have Twitter. I didn't have any clue how to get the word out to you because I don't have the community tab yet for whatever reason.
This is why you should follow your favorite content creators on all their social media.
Yeah. So I did try to let everybody at least know on Twitter and hoped that they would share the word. But
I
if you're
retweeted.
if you're not aware what happened, my wife had a colonoscopy on Tuesday because she's been experiencing a lot of severe abdominal pain, lower abdominal, just really bad. And so they've been doing a lot of things trying to figure out what's wrong with her. She's went through a lot of tests and all that. Well, it's time for the colonoscopy. And they did find one polyp that they're not too concerned about, but they sent it for biopsy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And they did find that she has diverticulosis. So that's probably the cause of her abdominal pain because that's can be a very painful condition.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, baby.
Is that my sister in the chat?
It is.
I can't see the chat at the moment. I'm logged into Irate Alex at the moment, so.
Yeah, she has that. They're going to have to try to treat it with medication and diet. Of course, for some stupid reason, the medication's not covered by my insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's going to. There's certain things she's not supposed to eat. One of them being, amazingly, wheat bread. I don't get that one.
Wheat bread?
Yeah, wheat bread. She's supposed
Okay.
which is really hard for us because we're a wheat bread family. I don't like white bread. I raised my kids on wheat bread. Now all my grandkids are raised on wheat bread. We just don't like white bread because we find it, tasteless, honestly.
It's self-hating white man.
Yeah, apparently, she doesn't have a problem with gluten, but apparently it does affect random American. Apparently it does affect the diverticulosis and can make it flare up into diverticulitis, which they are two different things. My wife's been struggling to understand the difference because she keeps wanting to say she has diverticulitis, and I said, no, it's diverticulosis. Trust me, that's hard to say with false teeth, folks. Easiest way, oversimplified way to understand it is diverticulosis is the condition. Diverticulitis is inflammation of that condition. So it's not a real bad case. I mean, my mother had it so bad that she had to have part of her colon removed, and my wife's nowhere near that bad.
Yeah,
but she's going to have to learn to deal with it. It was funny though.
For you, maybe, I'm sure.
Because they gave her drug. They didn't knock her out, but they gave her drugs to make her, well, high as a kite is what it was. And they said one of they might make her forget or black out.
Mm.
And I said, well, what are some of the drugs? And one of them she mentioned was Valium. I said, yep, you're not going to remember a thing.
Mm.
I know from
Mhm.
experience, you're not gonna, and she does not remember a thing. And for like that whole day, she wasn't even allowed to drive the rest of the day. I had to take her to work that night.
Yeah.
She was out of it. So it was kind of
She,
funny though.
she still went to work as well.
Yeah, she went to work. I had to drive her to work and she got a ride home, thankfully, because she gets off at 5 in the morning.
Mm.
But
Very early.
uh, yeah, uh, she went ahead and went to work. She decided to. She had taken the night before off because of the day before she's not allowed to eat. She was on a liquid diet. Then at a certain time at night she has to start in on this process. Okay, you drink this, then you take these pills, and then you drink a bunch of water, and a little later you take some of this, and the purpose of is it cleans you out. She pretty
Roger
much
that.
lived in the bathroom. But it was kind of funny though, because we walked in, and this isn't like I was explaining to you earlier.
You just forget my name.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, it's like I was. I'm talking directly to you, so I'm not going to say like I was explaining to Alex.
It's
Eh,
nice when you say my name like that.
yeah.
I like it when people call me Alex.
I try to remember. I try to remember. You got to understand. I've known you for almost 3 years now as irate bears. So
Yeah,
that's
I know,
what
I know.
comes out.
Mm. All good. It's all good. I get it.
But this isn't like an emergency room waiting room, and that's the reason I was so tired. Nothing wears you out. Where most of you know, nothing wears you out any more than sitting in a hospital waiting room. It's just tiring, really
Mm.
tiring. I was just exhausted. I was still exhausted the next day. It just wore me out. But
Yeah.
this is like a wing of that hospital is like a professional building, where the doctors all have offices and stuff. In fact, this office was right next door to my surgeon that done my surgery.
Mm.
And you walk in there, and it's a nice place. It just looks like a big doctor's office with a really good sized waiting room. But in the back, they have it set up like a surgery. And
Mm.
they did take me back there for a little while to sit with her before the procedure. But I walk in immediately. I notice it's full of people my age, which of course is the age group that's going to need that sort of procedure. And then I look up at the TV set, and it's set on got a big sign next to it. Please don't touch the TV or change the channel or adjust the volume. And it's set on a channel that plays old TV shows from the 50s and 60s.
That's to keep you all well behaved,
Yeah,
I
so I
think.
look around, and everybody's glued to the TV set while we're watching Dennis the Menace and Hazel and the Partridge Family. And they sure know their audience.
They do. That's to make sure you'll behave yourselves while you're in there.
Yeah.
Those senile old people. Back in my day.
But it was a busy place, man. They were hopping.
Mm.
But yeah. No, it wasn't TV Land Deck Train. It was another channel similar to that. I can't remember what it's called. I don't watch much TV anymore, so I couldn't tell you. Yes, Partridge Family was the 70s, but it was the very early 70s. And I check your logic. I'm very well aware of that because I watched it religiously as a kid, because I am the same age as Danny Bottaducci, who played in that TV show. So, but at any rate, yeah, that's what Tuesday was all about. The wife is doing well, and
Good.
she's doing just fine. She's still recovering, I think, herself from the procedure, but she's doing pretty good. And but to explain to you why I wasn't here Tuesday, for those that didn't have Twitter, I got home at about 5 minutes till 2, so I could have done it, but we hadn't eaten yet. and
Yeah.
and it would have been a rush to get everything together and ready to stream. And I'm just like, I'm too pooped. I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
So I sent a
That's fine.
DM to Bear and said, "We're not doing it today, buddy," and then put a tweet out. But yeah, life for older people.
Oh
Am-
dear.
Amazingly, somebody tweeted me saying they didn't know that women had to do that procedure. I'm like, yeah, dude. Sorry, Mama Minnie. I was focused on what was going on in front of me. So yeah, I'm sorry. I probably should have texted you.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know if you knew or not. I never know what word gets passed around. But yeah, you know, is what it is. I mean, but yeah, women have to do it. In fact, probably 3/4 of the people getting the procedure done while we were there were women.
Mm,
Uh, so
strange.
yeah,
Well, it's
yeah,
not really, it might not
it's
be strange for all I know. I don't know.
yeah, it's not just a man thing.
Yeah.
But so how have you been since the last stream?
Okay. Thank you very much for asking, Mr. Wing. Just just doing my usual, streams and all that good studge. And nothing too exciting. And my video has just been demonetized. Yeah.
Well, of course it is. Did you expect anything different?
Ah!
Isn't that the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result?
Apparently, yeah, I guess so. I guess so. God damn it. Of course, it would be freaking demonetized.
Mimi Sardinia, she had to have my wife had to have a colonoscopy. He must have showed up late. But yeah, it's something you all will have to look forward to when you get my age. I think they start asking you for that after 50.
If I make it.
I haven't had one yet. I keep doing every year. I do the poop on the stick thing and send it in. I just don't like the idea because you know my butthole is exit only. I don't like the while we were in there, and of course she's totally out of it. They're handing me all this stuff, and one of the things they hand me was it was about the size of a postcard. So I look at it, and oh, it's pictures of the procedure with the probe scene. I'm like, I love my wife. We've been married a very long time, but I don't want to see the inside of her butthole. Sorry. Yeah, poop on a stick. If you got to do it every year, but you can do it. It's a test where you have to poop on a piece of. It's not a stick, really. It's on a piece of paper, and you wrap it up, and they give you the container to put it in a self-addressed box, and you send it off to a test facility, and they test it for you, and they're able to tell if you got any problems from that. But you have to do it every year.
Just send in your poop on a stick.
Yeah, the bearded wagon says he's only 31, or she. By bearded, I assume you're male. Am I assuming your gender?
Yes, he's assuming your gender.
I'm only 31 and going in for my second colonoscopy next month. Yeah, if you have particular problems, I'm sure you do. But everybody has to do it after the age of 50. So,
yeah. Well, okay, so that's really disappointing that this has been demonetized. Like it's like a death sentence on my second channel if it gets demonetized.
Cynical. Let me explain to. She says, but they drug you blood. It's not like you're going to feel it. I get that, but give you a little background. You may not know. Hey, Outerface. Way back in the 70s, in my bad boy teenage years, I was a drug addict. I didn't just experiment with drugs. I was an addict, and my drug of choice was PCP, angel dust. Without going into a whole lot of detail, I got out of that lifestyle, thankfully. And since I just don't like being drugged up, I don't like being out of control like that. probably the reason I don't drink much anymore, or part of the reason, because I just don't like being out of control.
Mm,
It's a personal thing.
yeah. So I'm just typing something on my community tab.
The Bear Wagon says, "How dare you assume my gender, blood wing? Oh, I have you know I identify as an Apache helicopter. Sorry, man. Sorry, helicopter, Apache, whatever." Tickety tick, tickety type.
Shh.
Just let it happen.
Just let it happen. Yeah, just oh, such a pain, man.
Yeah, I feel you. It's the life of a YouTuber.
Ugh.
Yeah. So what else has happened? Let's see that's worth talking about. I'm kind of excited about a Redneck Trek coming up.
Yeah.
Um, um, I've been trying some different things, logging in and trying to see. It won't let you do first person camera, like truly first person. Your character's still going to be in the corner of the screen. But I have found a way to cheat it because
Right.
I was wanting to get some first person shots of the interior of my spacecraft.
Yeah.
Because, well, the running joke in the first couple of episodes was there's no bathroom on board.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hickenlooper's going to get him a bathroom installed in his quarters.
Do it.
But I wanted to be able to see the outside of the door, and make sound effects. But not just that, different things that I've been figuring out how to do on the thing, just to try it slicker, to make it a little slicker and a little better for you.
Mm.
Not much I can do about the jokes. There's still going to be bad jokes, but at least maybe the video quality will be a little better.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of excited about that. Actually recorded some gameplay last night. Not streaming Tuesday really got me off. I
I
have
beg your pardon.
not streaming, not got me off. It got me off track. I had no idea, even last night and most of the day today. I thought today was Friday. Even last night I'm thinking because I'm thinking, man, I got to get some gameplay because I don't have enough for the episode. I got to get it recorded. I got to get it tonight because tomorrow I got to record the voice and blah blah blah. And then I went, oh, it's Thursday tomorrow. But Michael Weiner says he really enjoys it. I'm glad you do, man. I'm glad there are those that are really enjoying it. It's not a huge hit, but that's okay. I have fun doing it. I have a lot of fun playing the game. I have fun making the videos.
Blood, are you able to access Twitter right now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're not looking.
Well, I'm flipping over.
We'll just refresh your page.
Okay.
Your Paggy.
All right.
And tell me if your feed is being refreshed.
Yeah, I'm getting a page that says something is technically wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not just me then.
So Twitter must be down.
Yeah, Twitter's fucked. Okay, good.
But yeah, I'm glad, Michael. I'm glad some of y'all enjoy it. I have a lot of fun making it. Of course, what you guys didn't know during the premiere this last week, while I'm sitting in the chat of the premiere before it started trying to talk to you guys, Bears got me in Twitter DMs just ripping me a new one because my thumbnail sucked.
Well, yeah, they do.
I'm not good at thumbnails. I'm just.
I gave you. I made you. All right, listen, guys. Right, I made Mr. Wing over here a template that he can use, and I told him a website where he can go on there and he can put thumbnails together. Super duper easy. No need for any kind of programs like Photoshop or anything like that. He can just go and do it, and it'll be all cushy. It'll be all good in the hood. But no.
Yeah.
Mr. Moody ass over here.
Yeah, I promise I will go visit that site and see what I can come up with before the next episode. And I promise I'll look at it. I'm not promising I'll use it. I'll just promise I'll look
So
at it.
are you not using it for the next episode?
I will look at it. I'll go look at that site that you linked me in
Yeah,
DMs.
better rather than fly over there and break your hip.
Yeah. The bearded waggy says, I can understand your point about being out of control. I myself was a bit naughty growing up, had 2 surgeries in 24 hours and stopped using the morphine button as soon as I could. Yeah, on this surgery I just had, they were giving me morphine, and I stopped asking for it as soon as I was able to, you know.
Mm.
The nurses now, I said, well, I don't really want to take it if I don't need it. Well, we don't want you being uncomfortable, and I'm good. I'll let you know if I need it. But, yeah, I'm just funny about it, I guess.
Twitter sucks balls.
Twitter, you'll live. Don't go into DTs
Well, I
yet.
wanted to share the stream.
Well, that is kind of important. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It'll be back
eventually. Someday.
One day. Oh, let's see what else we got. Anything else?
Oh yeah, if seeing as we're on the topic of our here personal lives, Alfie Dalfie Pudding and Pie got at his school report back today, and it's all green. It's all good. It's all BZ's all round.
Well, good.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Really, really good.
Oh, they get Bravo Zulus, huh?
Yeah, they get Bravo Zulus, dude. He got Bravo Zulus. BZ's all round. Yeah, he's done really, really well at school. The only downside is, imagine my shock, is his temper when it comes to being a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Father like son. Am I right?
Yeah, like I've never heard you lose it. Never.
Yeah, I get a little bit angry if things don't go my way, but a bit of bad news on the flip side. The other lad had actually quite a bad report, but we're putting a lot of that down to the fact that like he's not been having his one-to-one. There's all that hullabaloo about the funding and stuff, so we're going to look into that, and then we're going to kick off at the school about it. So and the other bit of good news, Vanilla Bear has an interview.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for a new jobby job.
Is it in the same type of thing that she's doing now, or
kind of? It's in a hospice, but it's not care. So, yeah.
Well, good for her. Good.
Yeah, she's had enough of care, mate. So
I can imagine. I could have never done it. I'm just don't have the personality. I mean, I can get along with people fine if I have to, but yeah, the first time one of them whacked me upside the head because they were upset, I would probably lose my stuff.
Yeah, I've worked in care. I've worked a few care jobs in my time. It can be unpleasant, but I do have the right personality for it, I suppose. I just don't get on well with other carers,
Doesn't play well with others.
No, I am a team player if the team is men.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Women, man, don't work with them. They're awful.
Oh, I've worked with a few, and I can get along fine. I've had a couple of women bosses, and for the most part,
I've had a few female bosses as well.
I can get along with them for the most part. Now, the last female boss I had, though, was afraid of me. I never did anything to her, and J-Kid worked there at the same time period that I did, or at least for a while, and she was afraid of him too. And I'm like, we've never done anything. She would never ever talk to me unless she had another manager present.
That's weird.
Like, are you afraid I'm going to come across the desk and punch you or something? What the heck?
You give off that vibe, I suppose.
I intimidated her. Me and J Kid both intimidated her somehow, and
You sure you weren't trolling her on a daily basis?
we didn't treat her any different than anybody else, which we are blunt to a fault,
Mm,
you know. But I don't know. We found it funny. It was like, why is she afraid?
mm. You know, when I worked in care, I've done several different types of care as well. And it's usually women that ruined it for me, right? But the good girls are usually older,
Yeah.
are older ladies. The younger females, not so much. The terrible, terrible, terrible people. Backstabbing, shit bags,
Well,
honestly.
you, you've all I've mentioned it many times before. My last job was at a limo company, and uh, the girls that work there are all in the reservations department, and so they tend to hire very young, just out of high school or just going through college kids, right?
Mm,
That's because they can pay them cheap, and some of them, not all of them, some of them certainly did not have what I would call a good work ethic.
yeah,
You know, always disappearing or taking off or calling in. And it's just, geez.
yeah.
Not all of them, though. Not all of them. There were some,
Mm, yeah.
but
I didn't like working for women or with them either.
yeah.
Backstabbing little snotty cows, honestly.
Hey, Reason Vision. No, actually, I got along well with some of the women there. Like you said, they did tend to be the older women, closer to my age, or at least not teenagers and 20s and stuff.
Mm,
And, I got along pretty well. In fact, the coffee pot that I had that was it came from there from a woman. She gave me a coffee pot to take. It's now broken because I've used the crap out of it, but it was not a cheap coffee pot. I looked it up online, and it's like $170 coffee machine. So
that's pricey.
yeah, yeah, it was an expensive one. I wore it out though. Doggone it. I like that pot. It was one of them that it keeps a pot of water in the reservoir all the time, so that when you turn it on, it's almost instantaneous. It makes a pot right now within
Oh,
seconds.
decent.
But yeah, it's broke. Yeah, I can't complain about the cheap one I have now. It makes a pot in no more than 5 minutes. I think it's the same one. In fact, I'm pretty well sure it's the same one that Maddie's recently got. So I can't complain about it. No, it wasn't a Keurig. It made more than a cup at a time. It make a full 12-cup pot in just a matter of time. It was a professional grade, made for home, but it was professional grade. It's the same company that makes coffee makers and stuff for restaurants and so forth. So,
Mm.
uh, but yeah, yeah. I mean, I get it. I get it. Of course, for me, sometimes I had trouble with the guys because I am a bit intimidating in person, even though I'm scrawny and not necessarily big. I do tend to intimidate people. I don't do it on purpose. I just do. It's just my personality.
Mm.
And some of the guys took that as a challenge. And of course, I was like, okay, challenge accepted. You want to butt heads? Okay, we could do that.
Come and have a crack if you want, mate.
Yeah, come at me, dude.
Oh yeah, there's another thing actually that happened recently to me. You know how I have the men's mental health group.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And real quick, Mama Manny says you're not laughs, and then you're not scrawny anymore. Shut up. I like
Mhm.
my belly. Gives me
He
somewhere to lay my plate.
he's in shape, round as a shape.
The doctor told me I had to watch my weight, so I had to get it out there where I could see it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. So your mental health thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm being a little bit put off
Yeah.
by it, if I'm honest. And the
Well,
reason for that is I've spoken about it before about, kind of like meeting guys where, I would have something in common with them. And I haven't really found that yet as such with any of the regulars that come every week.
uh-huh.
And there's this autistic guy that goes, and I've he also has bipolar, so he's a difficult one to manage. He also has EUCD, which I forget the name of what it is, but it's a very, very complicated disorder, mental health disorder. He has these super crazy fucking eyebrows as well. Like his eyebrows are just shouting at you when he's talking to you, whilst he's shouting at you.
Uh-huh.
He's difficult, Bloodwing.
Yeah, I know. I've had, not a lot, but I've had some experience with autistic people.
Well, so have I. I used to be a carer for them. I used to be a support worker.
Well, I've told the story before. My sister, just younger than me, has cerebral palsy, and it's not just her body that was affected; it was her brain. I wouldn't call her retarded. Oops, I know that's not a word we can use anymore, but I'm going to use it. I wouldn't call her that, but she was a little slow. She graduated high school a year after she would have normally. So, not like real bad, but she had to come up through school all the time in special, what we call here, special education.
Yeah, we call it that here as well.
It's where the people with learning disabilities and whatnot go to class. And they would come home with her a lot. So growing up, I was around people with all sorts of learning disabilities of all levels.
Yeah.
And there was that. For some reason, as mean and evil as I am, I tend to get along really well with autistic people. They take to me for some reason. Maybe it's because I'm not a hands-on guy. I'm not touchy-feely, and I won't invade your personal space because I don't like mine invaded. But yeah, I don't know. It's never made sense to me. I've always wondered why it is, but I always get along pretty well with them.
I mean, I did generally when I was a support worker, although saying that the majority of the lads that I looked after were, why are you knocking on my door, boy? You know I'm smoking. they were non-verbal autistic, most of them, but this guy, yeah, right, they go, sort him out, please, missus. He keeps talking about things that he has no idea about, and like he's so sure about these things, and he doesn't like it when I correct him.
Right.
He really doesn't like it when I correct
Sorry,
him.
I had a mouthful of coffee there. I was listening.
Like the other week, he was like, "Oh, the astute class submarines have nuclear missiles." I went, "No, they don't." He went, "Yes, they do." And I went, "No, they don't." And one of the lads went, "Yeah, he's like ex-Royal Navy. Don't argue with him." He's like, "Well, what's the hatch for?" T-lambs. Oh, and he went and sat with the other group for the rest of that day. And yesterday, he was complaining about the F-35 Joint Strike Fighters, which we had bought off you guys,
right?
And he was complaining about them. It's like, oh, we should have the F-22s. Thank you very much, lady. And I was like, yeah, but it'll have to do. And that alone was enough for him to reach a point where if I'd carried on, he would have exploded.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but
yeah, like my mate Graham, like he has far more extensive experience with like people with autism and the mentally handicapped than I do. Like he's actually taught kids. And he could see that he was about to go off, and he quickly shuffled me outside for a cigarette because he was like, calm down to me and like just let him have his thing because he's going to explode. Yeah, he needs to cool his jets. Well, the thing is, this guy, like, he's massively into aircraft.
Well, I can understand that because I am too. I mean,
massively into aircraft.
I am all about anything that flies.
Yeah, I get that. Have your hobbies, but obviously with him being autistic, it's like an obsession for him, and he has like a family member, like his uncle or something, was like a pilot back in the 70s or something like that, and he volunteers to like clean old aircraft and museums and stuff like that. Basically, they let him do it. As a stream died, I'm getting buffering.
Yeah, I get it. I'm getting it every once in a while, but no, it's apparently still going.
Oh, okay, I've got an ad. There we go. Yeah, and it's all he ever talks about, really. Like, he just keeps breaking out pictures of models that he makes and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not really interested. But every so often he says something that I correct him on and he doesn't like it.
Well, I can understand the aircraft thing. Sorry. There was a drink of Mountain Dew that time. Got a dry throat. Ever since I was a little kid, I've just been fascinated with aircraft, and haven't done a model in many, many years because I had grandkids. So try keeping a model safe while you're
a toy.
Yeah. But one of my favorite places in the world is Wright-Patterson Museum, which is on the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, which is just a couple hours from where I live here. And oh man, they've got all kinds of they've got a life-size model of the airplane that the Wright brothers flew. They have a space shuttle out there. One of the Apollo space capsules, all just, I mean, everything. And then outside on the grounds, they have tons of real aircraft that you're allowed to go up and walk through. And it's just one of my favorite places. I just love it there. But
my brother-in-law is obsessed by aircraft as well.
Yeah, that was the thing. That's the one thing I miss about working for FedEx, because I'm so all about aircraft, and every day I had to pinch myself, like I'm really out here working on a for real airplane, and I'm allowed to go in the cockpit because of my position. I was the only person allowed to go up there beside the flight crew. So this is so cool. But yeah, I do miss that part of working at FedEx.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, right? I mean, James is in the chat saying that he's autistic. I'm, as you know, I've spoken about it before. I did the test with the ADHD people, and they say that I'm autistic, which makes sense because I have like sensory issues, and I have very obsessive traits. You might have noticed. You may have also noticed me becoming rather triggered from time to time and having fits. Yeah, but oh my god, I said to him, I said, why? I said to him, look, the F-22s are amazing aircraft. Like, in terms of air superiority, no, nothing beats it. There's nothing in the air that can beat it. But it's not a bomber. It's not capable of ground mapping bombing. It's a dogfire, you know. It's no, say it's not so. Shut up, Michael.
Cryptic says he's going to Dayton this Sunday. Dude, if you've never been, and you probably have, but if you haven't, and you can take a moment, go over to Wright-Patterson. It's worth the time. Necrosol says, I would love NASA in Houston. I've actually been to Cape Kennedy in Florida, but that was back in the 70s. It's been a long time ago. But that was a very interesting place as well. Got to see the vehicle that they moved the rockets from the hangar out to the launch pad. Big, huge. I mean, humongous. This thing's as big as a city block, right? And I think it gets like 5 miles or 5 feet to the gallon or something like. It's just astronomical amount of gas. Huge thing. Got to see that up close. That was pretty cool. Used to have a whole lot of patches and stuff that I got from there as well. But yeah, anything that flies, rockets, airplanes, helicopters, anything, I'm just fascinated by it. I don't know why, but I just am.
Also, I'm not sure whether, in fact, no, we have new carriers now. The F-22s will probably be fine on the new carriers. One of our carriers had a leak.
Oh,
yeah, HMS Queen Elizabeth. One of the water pipes burst.
Oh,
Yeah, because some of the compartments were filled up knee high. It's not surprising for a new ship. New ships are always very prone to things like that. We had it with the Type 45s as well.
uh,
The F-35. I mean, it's a decent enough aircraft, I suppose. I mean, there's three different variants. I know that it's spread across your military arms of your military.
right.
We're going to have it on our aircraft carriers, and it suits our purpose. You know,
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think it's the Bravo variant that has jump jets.
I don't know.
New ships are not prone to sinking. They're prone to faults, to technical difficulty, shall we say.
Cryptic says he goes there monthly, and I've never gone in 2 years. You should, dude. If you can find the time, go. I think you would enjoy yourself. There's a little something there for everybody. There's even a section about Project Blue Book. Do you know what that is, Bear?
No, that's why I'm silent.
That was the Air Force program that looked into UFOs.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, when I went to New York, in Manhattan, when we came alongside in Manhattan, it was so cool, man. You had one of your decommissioned aircraft carriers there, and on top of it, on the flight deck, was a blackbird.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, it's a blackbird.
that would be awesome.
I was like, oh, I've only seen those in books.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's so sexy.
I'm pretty sure there's a blackbird at the Wright-Patterson parked out on the tarmac.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Such a mean looking thing as well.
Yeah.
The Honey Monsters mentions the Titanic. That's not why the Titanic sunk. Not because it was new. It's because it was literally on fire when they took it out of dry dock and they didn't know. Did you know that?
Not sure I knew about the fire.
Yep, that's why it sunk ultimately, because it wasn't so much as the iceberg as it was the weakening of its hull. The what they used to do back then when steams were running on coal, is there was a coal fire, and they had no idea it was going on inside it. When they put it out, when they finally took it out of dry dock and they put it into harbor, and it weakened the hull so much so that it pretty much became fairly brittle. If it hadn't have had that, it probably wouldn't have sunk.
Yeah. Which also, just proves
the design was pretty bad as well. The bottom compartments, probably like 6 or 7 deck or whatever.
Yeah.
They didn't have deck heads. That's a ceiling in
right.
naval terminology. They didn't have deck heads. So when the water came gushing in, it just went over the top, filled up one compartment, went over the top, you know, and then eventually split the ship in half.
Well, yeah, it was just too much. Once it went nose down, it was just too much weight and couldn't support it.
Yeah, Jedi. That's what I read. The U.S. Marines will be getting the F-35 Bravo variant.
Yeah, and you're right. Now that he mentioned that, when Mama Minnie was in the Marine and we were down in Arizona at the base that she was in Yuma, we actually sat for a few minutes and watched some of the jump jets take off.
Oh, that's so cool as well.
It is. It was very cool.
I know it's not exactly new tech. I mean, we had the Harrier, the GR7s.
Oh yeah.
But it's so cool.
It is. It's absolutely cool.
Vertical takeoff.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
But yeah, the Titanic, that's just proof that I doubt that there's any really such thing as an unsinkable ship. That and the Bismarck and all. You know, it might be really difficult to sink, but it can be sunk.
The American air supercarriers are very I genuinely think they are unsinkable.
Yeah, maybe, but
yeah. I mean, you could sink them.
Yeah,
like if you wanted to sink them on purpose, you could. Like the U.S. Navy could sink them. But in terms of like running aground or like a military conflict,
Yeah.
very, very, very hard to take out.
Yep. Yeah. That was like we've talked a few times about that Japanese battleship, the
Yamato.
going from the sides. You're probably never going to sink that boat, but the the Allies figured out that it was very weak on top,
Mm.
and that's where they would have went after it, was above, coming out from the top with an aerial attack.
Mm.
But, anyway, give me just a second. I'm not going to the bathroom, but I'm out of coffee and I really need another cup. So
He's definitely going to the bathroom.
I won't even mute my microphone. I'll just be right back.
Mm. Oh, the USS America was not an aircraft carrier, but a amphibious assault ship. So that doesn't count technically. The American aircraft carriers, like, you guys, you know how to build them. I mean, these things are huge, like a 5,000 crew complement. Oh, nuts, massive. The only way the enemy could ever really take you out was if they were to hit you with about, I don't know, 20 torpedoes at once. And that's never going to happen because aircraft carriers are protected by destroyers and frigates and helicopters and other submarines. So you'd have to nuke it. I mean, that's why the Russians all have the Russian anti-ship missiles can all be retrofitted with nuclear warheads. Simply because of American aircraft carriers, you know.
All right, I'm back. As you can probably tell when my elbowed the microphone sitting down. I said, oops.
I could hear you cracking from a mile away.
Yeah, well, comes with getting old. But
the old USS America. Stop naming ships the same bloody thing.
And they do that.
It's an LHA. So there we go. USS. Yeah, that's it. CV. I should have looked for the pennant number.
Actually, and imagine your shock, one of my starships on one of my characters on Star Trek Online is the USS America.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and the game itself named it that. I didn't. it came out with that name. I'm like, I'll keep that. I like it.
Are Nimitz class carriers not bigger than what class of sub? What class is this? Kitty Hawk class. It's a cute name for an aircraft carrier.
Yeah. Speaking of, we were talking about aircraft, and I have a special love for World War II era fighter planes. I just love the old prop jobs.
Are you going to start talking about Hurricanes and Spitfires?
Oh,
I get Spitfires flying over my house this time of year because all the air shows are done not too far from me.
Well, my favorite was the Mustang. The Mustang actually was such a good aircraft and so fast for a prop job that many air forces around the world in like third world countries and stuff were still using them long after jets were invented. But you know what my favorite military aircraft is of all time? It's getting a little long in the tooth now, but I still love it.
Go on.
A-10 Warthog.
Oh, of course. That's everyone's favorite.
Oh, I love it.
It's a mean-looking aircraft as well.
Yeah, they are. And I had the opportunity, was out in the backyard here. It was probably during the 500 race one year or something. Something was going on, and 3 of them flew over my house here, pretty low. And it was awesome. It was awesome. They don't go too. They wasn't going too fast, but it doesn't have to. Oh, geez, they're just awesome aircraft, in my opinion. But yeah, they Neckersall, yeah, they're getting a little long in the tooth now, which is a shame. I'm gonna miss them.
Yeah. The Jedi Ghost Bear, who corrected me earlier, he didn't answer my question. Is the Kitty Hawk smaller as a class the Nimitz.
I believe it is. I actually had he's passed away now, but I had my cousin's husband was actually stationed on the Kitty Hawk at one point.
Because yes, it is. So the Nimitz class are super duper carriers.
Necrosol says the replacement's not as cool. That's a shame. That's a shame because I'm sorry, but the A10 Warthog it's not the fastest. It's not even the sleekest looking jet, but gum, it is a bad boy. I just love that aircraft, but I could sit here all day and talk about aircraft and ships and military hardware. That would be an easy thing for me to do if you got me off on it. But yeah, I do have a special love though. If I built a model, it was generally of one of the old World War II prop jobs because I just loved the way they looked, all of them.
Yeah, Shelley, Twitter is down. I can't get on it at all. Oh, the White House social media. Yeah. Because Bill Ottman's there today. Is it today?
It's today, I believe.
Yeah. Bill Ottman. If you don't know who he is, he's actually the co-founder of Minds.com. And he's in the White House, and I've spoken to him in a hangout before. Therefore, 1 degree of separation from the President of the United States of America. I'm better than Sargon.
You know, you made that you made that noise earlier, and it reminded me of like a minigun, which
yes, it sounds like farting. Yeah,
and it reminded me of when I was a kid in the 70s when Vietnam was still going on. I had an uncle that was in Nam, and at that time, cassette tapes were first coming into real major use. Cassette recording tapes. And my uncle would actually, instead of writing letters, he would record a cassette tape and send it back home. And my grandmother would call, and we'd all go over there and listen to it, okay? Which was not necessarily a good thing because he'd be recording and stuff would hit the fan, you know, and you're hearing all this fire and artillery and small arms fire and everything going off. And he'd say, like, I'll be back, and just flip it off. You're like, oh my God, he's gonna die. He was in charge of artillery. He was a sergeant, and he had his own, you know, I don't know, do you call that a gun, a cannon, what? But it's an artillery piece.
Yeah, there is a point at when a weapon becomes big enough that it's no longer referred to as like small arms or a rifle. It becomes a gun. Yeah. And I think it has to be 7.62 and bigger to be considered a gun.
Yeah, well, whatever this was, the targets he was shooting at was well out of sight.
Oh, yes. Probably like 20, 30 miles out of sight, yeah. Artillery is cool as well.
But they would get action around their firing zone or whatever you call it there. You know, the enemy would try to attack them to take out those artillery pieces. And I remember in particular, well, I've kind of gone the wrong way, the long way around telling this. He made one in particular tape, and he's just talking, and in the background you heard this, and then he didn't even seem to mind. He wasn't even, and he just, and a little bit later, a couple seconds later, you hear, and we're all going, "What the heck is that?" And then some small arms fire breaks out, and he says it was one of them. I'll be back. And when he come back on, he explained what it was. Puff the Magic Dragon. Have you ever heard about that? It was a DC-3 they used in Vietnam that they would fly with the doors open, and they had miniguns in the doors.
cool.
And they'd fire these miniguns off, and it would actually make the aircraft fly sideways. But that's what we were hearing in the background. It just sounded like a big fart or something.
It's funnier when you're inside a ship and you can hear it.
Yeah.
Because directly above you, because it sounds like somebody's sitting on a whoopee cushion that's like never ending.
But yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's so cool to shoot, and it's so cool to watch it at night.
Boy, I wasn't sure those tapes were a good thing though, because I know he sent them to make us feel better about he was away from home. But we usually felt worse because the tapes would often end when all heck could break loose around him. Well, I gotta go. Be back. And then he came home, and man, some of the pictures he came home with would just turn your stomach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember one in particular picture was of a tank with a dead Viet Cong strapped to the front of it. It was just, yeah,
grim.
yeah, yeah. I've only looked at the pictures he brought home from Nam once, and that's all I have to do is look at them one time. I don't desire another look. He's
Yeah,
still living, by the way, but
I feel you there, Bloodwing. Honestly, like on my last deployment, we had a medic Dan that joined the ship, and he lived on our mess deck. And his last like deployment was actually in Afghanistan, attached to some Royal Marines. And he showed us the videos and pictures that he took over there, like the most recent, and it was. I didn't need to see it in the first place, and I definitely don't want to look at it again.
I do want to clarify something here real quick. That was not an American tank. Well, it was and it wasn't. Is if you know anything about Nam, you know that we gave the South Vietnamese a lot of equipment, and it was an American tank, but it was manned by a South Vietnamese crew. So, yeah, there wasn't Americans that strapped that dead Viet Cong on the front of their tank. Not that that probably didn't happen, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Angry Illinoisan says, I remember those guns, no essential personnel above deck, and at one point in time, one of them was tracking me. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else are you going to say to that? Is it okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Those pictures were horrible. There were kids in there, and
yeah.
The things I saw in those pictures were horrendous, and the videos as well, man, they were just awful. Like obviously him being a medic had to treat like everybody, you know, whether it's our side or their side or whatever, but no.
Yeah. War's not fun, folks.
Especially when kids get caught in the crossfire.
But before we get too dark with that, let's flip to a different subject. We haven't done a lot of news lately, so there was at least one or two articles I did want to talk about.
I'm surprised you don't want to talk about the thing you spoke to me in DMs yesterday about.
That nah. If you've seen on Twitter, I made a Twitter thread because I guess the thing is lately that there are those that were in our genre, if you will, that have moved away from it, but which is fine. If you want to do something else, fine. But they've gone to the point of now either hiding or deleting all their old content because basically, I guess they're ashamed of it. At least that's my take on it.
I went and had a look at the thread.
Yeah.
I don't think it was as bad as you were saying.
It just really sticks in my craw because like I told you yesterday in DMs, when you know some of these people I considered peers back in the day, you know, and now you know what I still do and what they got away from is just stupid and irrelevant and laughable. No, that ticks me off. You know, and that's all it was. I'm not gonna. Yeah, On my channel, I'm not. You won't see me deleting any old videos. I haven't deleted one. And there's some pretty bad videos in my library. If you look back at some of my early stuff, oh my gosh, you think I'm bad at editing now? You should have seen the early stuff.
And my microphone quality when I first started was an abomination.
Oh, mine too. I recorded a lot of my early stuff on a gaming headset.
Yeah.
And and there were podcasts, if you will. They weren't live streams, but I would record something and then just post, kind of like what Neebs does with their commenting on comments. And I would post them, and some of them got a little more personal than I probably should have. But I'm not going to get rid of it because that's me. That's a part of my growth and part of how I got to where I am now. And I'm not ashamed of it. The things that I believed 3 years ago, because it's been almost 3 years since you and I started in this.
Yeah.
Close. I still believe now. I haven't changed my mind. So yeah, why get rid of it? And then that's all I want to say about it. It is what it is. I get. If it wasn't so sad, it'd almost be funny watching people jump all over the place,
Yeah.
and flip flopping and flipping sides. And
I think maybe for you, I think it's a little bit more personal, whatever, because I think it has a lot less to do with who you were referring to, and a lot more to do with the person that was egging them on.
Yeah, it did.
And because that I'm not, we won't say who it is, but no. It's one of those people that during the blood sports era decided that they were going to switch sides.
Yeah. And
one of them, and they used to be very prominent and influential, and one of the gatekeepers to growth in the genre, and it was very well liked. And well, I mean, it flips. So
and honestly, I'm losing my patience with them. I mean, I've seen some more stuff today that I'm like, I'm starting to question why I'm still following you. But I try to be a conservative individual that tries to extend a hand across the aisle and be friends with people of the opposite opinion. I don't want to just surround myself with like-minded people. I enjoy interacting with people that are of a different opinion, but there's a point when it just becomes really stupid and annoying.
Yeah. I feels you. And Maddie's asking for the link. I'll send it to her. Well, I can't get on Twitter. So.
Oh yeah. How are we going to send you the link, Maddie?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I could send it through Instagram, actually.
Which I don't have.
I have Instagram.
There's Pat. Hey, Pat. Again, I know I told you on Twitter. Happy birthday to your daughter, dude.
Yes.
She's beautiful. Good Lord, she's gorgeous.
I don't have you on Discord, Madwoman. You're gonna have to add me.
But tell her for me that I said happy. I know she doesn't know who I probably am, but I said happy birthday. And if you want to feel really old, or at least it makes me feel old, I have a granddaughter that's only 4 years younger. So, yeah.
Thank you, Hybrid Human, for sharing the stream to my Discord. I forgot to do it, so I don't think I have you on Discord, man. Oh, there she is. Don't boo me. In fact, I can't get you the link either because it's in the DMs on the Twitter, and I can't invite people to this hangout. So you're gonna have to open up Discord. Wing.
I am.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. I can't send invites.
It'll crash my computer.
I can't send a link then.
Yeah.
I can't invite her to your hangout. So, yeah.
Sorry, Maddie. We would if we could.
Only you had the option to get that link.
Yeah, but blame it on Twitter. But I know I still haven't got it figured out. The second I load it up, it'll crash. The only time that I can load Discord and it won't crash my computer is if I have just rebooted my computer, like within a few minutes.
Mm.
Uh,
Yes, it's such a pain in the backside, isn't it? How much do we rely on Twitter for
yeah,
communication?
as big a pain in the butt as Twitter is.
Yeah, as much as it winds me up.
But anyway, news articles. There was at least
News, glorious news.
one here that I wanted to cover. uh, Pelosi responds to AOC slam, says caucus has her back for condemning chief of staff's offensive tweet.
Oh dear.
Yeah, there's trouble in paradise, folks. Waiting on this.
Uh-oh.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi stood her ground Thursday in response to New York Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez claiming the speaker has been disrespectful to several minority lawmakers, saying she has the backing of her caucus and defending her handling of the rabble-rousing freshman squad that Ocasio-Cortez leads.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer the Three Stooges, but
well, apparently there's four, but we'll get into that. And I wasn't aware of the fourth. Yeah,
there's
but
AOC, Ilhan Omar, and the other Muzzy. Ilhan Omar. What's the third one?
Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah, Rashida Ogunbom.
Yeah. But there's a fourth, but we'll get in that in here in a second. Notably, Pelosi all but confirmed that a warning she delivered to rank and file lawmakers a day earlier about using social media for attacks on fellow Democrats was prompted by Ocasio-Cortez's chief of staff. Asked about her ongoing spat with the New York lawmaker, Pelosi acknowledged how she recently addressed, at the request of my members, that's in quotation marks, an offensive tweet that came out of one of the members' offices that compared centrist Democrats to segregationists. That tweet was authored and then deleted by Ocasio-Cortez's chief of staff, can't read it.
AOC has a chief of staff.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
They're not doing the job.
Party, I guess. I have no idea. She's got to spend that $172,000 a year somehow.
Yeah.
Our members took offense at that, Pelosi said, claiming her comments received a positive response. I addressed that. Ocasio-Cortez has since accused Pelosi of being disrespectful to several newly elected women of color. Of course, they're women of color. She had to go there with the race card. Pelosi repeatedly told reporters Thursday she wasn't going to say anything else on the subject, but said she supports diversity in the caucus. I've said what I'm going to say. What I said in the caucus yesterday had an overwhelming response from my members because they know what the facts are and what we are responding to. We respect the value of every member of our caucus. The diversity of it all is a wonderful thing. Diversity is our strength. Unity is our power, she said. So apparently they're getting a lot of kickback from Ocasio's little group. It almost makes it sound like the whole rest of the Democratic caucus is at odds with Ocasio and her bunch. On Thursday, Ocasio-Cortez stood by her Pelosi comments in an interview with CNN, saying she was pointing out a pattern, but she declined to call Pelosi a racist. This is hardly the first time Pelosi has had to quell tensions, even revolt inside the caucus, having brushed back a challenge to her leadership post from Representative Tim Ryan following the 2016 election. Pelosi has worked to keep the Democratic caucus in line, specifically for newly elected outspoken progressive. Ocasio-Cortez, Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat Minnesota, Representative Rashida Tlaib, Democrat Michigan, and Representative Ayanna Pressley, Democrat
Who's that?
Massachusetts. I have no idea.
I've never heard of this person.
But I guess they've got a fourth Beatle.
Good Lord.
However, a feud between Pelosi and the quartet escalated after Congress recently passed a border funding bill that the four young Democrats opposed. You're going to like where this goes, folks. In an interview last weekend, Pelosi told the New York Times all these people have their public whatever and their Twitter world, but they didn't have any following. They're four people, and that's how many votes they got.
Oh my God.
When they were opposing, because the House decided to work with Trump to get more money for the people down on the border. And Ocasio-Cortez flipped her lid about because we gave in so her easy. And Pelosi's pretty much saying here, yeah, it was just her four bunch that voted to not.
Oh my God. Hashtag resist, yeah.
Yeah. The spat got nastier after Ocasio-Cortez told the Washington Post on Wednesday that the persistent singling out of the speaker may be more than outright disrespectful. When these comments first started, I kind of thought that she was keeping the progressive flank at more of an arm's distance in order to protect more moderate members, which I understood, Ocasio-Cortez said. She added, but the persistent singling out, it got to a point where it was just outright disrespectful. The explicit singling out of a newly elected woman of color.
They're not the Three Stooges. They are the three horses of the apocalypse. And AOC's at the front.
She looks like one for sure. In an earlier interview with the New Yorker Radio Hour, Ocasio-Cortez accused Congress of using women and minorities as bargaining chips. Well, duh, they have for years and years and years. All politicians do.
I mean, that's how they get votes.
Yeah. When it comes to women of color in Congress, particularly the freshmen, is that we both have encountered and represent communities that have been auctioned off and negotiated off for the last 20 years, and we're over it, Ocasio-Cortez said Tuesday. Really? This is just me talking. Really? Or do you think that maybe you four have absolutely no clue what you're doing yet? And the woman that maybe does has some experiences telling you to back the heck off and learn something, newbie, before you open your big mouth?
I have a question based on something that Ranting Monkey told me about how American politics works. Because I'm British. I know a fair amount about American politics, but not enough to talk about it properly inside and out in like videos and streams and stuff.
Okay. Can you hang on to it for just a second? I've got 2 paragraphs to go, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right. We see these negotiations all the time. It's like fighting for black communities or policies that help women. She keeps throwing the race and the gender card out there. They're bargaining chips, and they're the first chips that are reached for in any legislative negotiation. On Wednesday, Pelosi delivered her stern message to the caucus, telling House Democrats, you got a complaint? You come and talk to me about it. Come get some. But do not tweet about our members and expect us to think that that is just okay. Trouble in paradise, folks. Trouble in paradise.
The Democrats need to get their shit in one sock, honestly.
All right. So your question about American politics, I'll try to answer it. Best
okay. Pelosi is the Speaker of the House.
Uh-huh.
And she's the leader of the Democratic Party right now.
Right.
If she wanted to, could she primary all 4 of those if she wanted to?
I'm not sure how that would work. They would have. Are you talking about by primary? Are you talking about like bring them up like almost like an impeachment sort of thing? Or
you basically put someone up against them in their own district.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, they obviously could, and I get the hint that they absolutely will. That when it comes back around time for re-election, that the Pelosi
good.
and the older Democrat crowd are probably going to put their own people up there to, be against them.
I mean, I have no doubts that Democrats and Republicans probably engage in a certain level of identity politics. I mean, our political parties do it as well, but they don't go that deep as AOC.
Well, as much as I disagree with Pelosi, and I don't like Nancy Pelosi. I don't agree with her politics and everything. At least she seems to have enough sense to know when you keep your mouth shut. You don't say everything that comes to mind. And AOC's little group, I call them the Three Amigos, but I guess there's four now. So the Four Amigos, whatever comes in their head comes right out their mouth on social media.
Mm.
And they're upsetting the apple cart.
They are very much the stereotypical millennials, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they don't know when to shut up.
Mm.
They're new.
But Ben in the chat corrects me, saying Pelosi's leader of the House, not the Democratic Party.
Right.
So
Well,
who's the leader of the party?
she's the leader of the Democratic caucus, which is the Democratic Party in the House.
Yeah.
Does not include the Senate.
Is there a leader of the party?
Probably is, but I have no idea who it is.
Okay.
I have no idea. And it's not even really always a politician, that leads the party. But Perez. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for answering my questions.
Yeah.
American politics is a little bit different to British politics.
It is, but you know that our Congress is divided into two houses. There's the House of Representative and the Senate. Pelosi is the leader of the Democratic caucus, which holds a majority right now in the House of Representatives. So that's what she's the leader of, those Democrats.
Yeah. Okay. See, I have a very basic knowledge of American politics. I know there are three arms of government: executive, legislator, and no. The executive branch, the judicial branch,
and legislative.
Yeah. And the executive branch is the White House, the president. The legislator is the Senate and the House of Representatives, and the judicial branch is the Supreme
Court. Yeah.
Yes, that's Supreme Court. Yes.
Yep, you got it. There's the basics of it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And they all watch each other. That's they're all responsible for keeping an eye on one another.
There are a lot of similarities between us, though. Yeah. Like you guys have a two-party system. Well, you know that we have more than two parties, but it pretty much is a two-party system. Like you may as well just call it that. The two biggest parties, Labour, Conservatives. Labour are akin to the Democrats, the Conservative Party akin to Republicans. Even though technically speaking, their politics tend to vary. Because
Maddie says Barry knows the branches. That's more than AOC. Yeah, it was because she did know the branches.
I'm qualified. I'm going to go up against I'm going to primary that bitch.
Yeah. One of the biggest differences is that your prime minister or your
The biggest difference is that you vote for as a country, you vote for the president, whereas we don't do that.
Right.
We vote for the party.
Well, we're a democratic republic, if you will, where you're a parliamentary democratic society.
Yeah.
So there's some differences. But yeah, that's.
Well, it has to be. Your country's huge.
Well, it is. It's massive, and that's. And because there are checks and balances, because our government is divided into three branches and they all watch each other, is one of the reasons that I say that another civil war is pretty unlikely in today's day and age. They all keep, and people say, oh, and I've seen it recently in the last few days on Twitter, people honestly saying without irony that Trump is going to throw a coup and remain leader of the country.
I don't think so.
I don't think the Supreme Court and the Congress is going to go for that.
Just real quick, there's mention that Twitter's back. It's kind of back. I can get onto Twitter. I can't get in my DMs though. I keep getting internal server errors. Otherwise, I'd send Maddie the link straight away.
Yeah. But yeah,
I can't see trending either.
so apparently, those of us that are on the right aren't the only ones that have a trouble with the three, well, now four amigos. Her own party has, and I thought it really funny and interesting to know that during the whole Trump wanting to send money to the border thing, that it was only AOC and her group that voted against it. And Pelosi made that very clear. They got four members, and that's how many votes they got. She pointed out that they've got their Twitter following and all that stuff, but that they don't have a real following. Because nobody in Congress is following their lead.
Yeah, exactly. There's a big difference between what you can amass on social media and what you can amass in real life.
Pat, who's the fourth? I just read her name a while ago. I've already closed out that window, and Alyssa something or Alyssa Presley, I think it said. Never heard of her, but I guess she's getting grouped into that group. And yeah, I was thinking the same thing quietly. AOC needs to watch Schoolhouse Rock. That's where I learned it.
It's kind of sad that I know more about American politics than AOC does.
Yeah, it is. Because I'll be honest with you, and I've told you before, I don't understand British. I'm impressed because I don't know very little about British politics. I don't.
I bothered to ask.
Well, and it is. I mean, in some ways it's the same, but in many ways it's very different. American and UK politics, and so it just does. Just like I'm sure our politics doesn't make sense to your British mind, your politics doesn't make sense to my UK mind.
There was a time when our politics was more what's the word, civil than American politics. Because I know how your presidential elections go. I know how the primaries go. There's a lot of mudslinging. It gets a little bit out of hand. There's hit pieces galore, like so much so that it's even on TV. But our politics is becoming very Americanized, and you can blame David Cameron and probably Tony Blair for that, actually. Because our politicians, they started hiring American campaigners, campaign specialists. Yeah. To try to learn Israel politics. No. No.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them just get on.
And it's just like, and this makes for a good segue, because I'll bet you like to at least say a little something on this recent UK news of
Tommy Robinson.
To my American mind, that whole thing, none of it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I know. We have different laws. We have very different laws in this country. Okay, so I know that over in your country, the media can report that they generally don't have reporting restrictions on court cases.
Oh no, heck, some court cases they'll be right in the courtroom.
Yeah. Over here, we have laws that basically are put in place that are designed and are supposed to prevent the jury of a court case from being manipulated by information in the press. Not all court cases have gag orders on them, but in this particular circumstance, there was a gag order. And the thing is,
hey, Monkey.
Hello, Monkey. I couldn't get to my Twitter. It's back, but I still, same, mate. I can't get in my DMs.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to load up. Hey, I got Bloodwing's DMs open. Yay. Right. There we go. I can now send links. Boom. 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 Where's Maddie? Where is Maddie? Oh, internal server error again. Don't give me that crap. Stop it.
Behave.
Did it even send? It didn't send. Send. Send, you whore. Yes. I can definitely send Maddie the link now via Discord. There we go. So that she can definitely get in. Yeah. So the laws are in place. It's basically just so that the jurors cannot be manipulated by any media.
Yeah.
And with Tommy, what happened with Tommy is that he did something similar prior to the Leeds case, and he was given a warning and he was given a suspended sentence, contempt of court charge, for reporting on a case with a gag order, and then he did it again, and he did it directly outside Leeds Crown Court. And there's a lot of strange things about this particular
and see,
case.
here in America, that's a very common sight to see reporters on the steps of the courthouse reporting on whatever's going on inside.
Yeah. What I find odd about this is, hey, there's Maddie. Cool. You're right, Maddie.
Hello.
Hello.
I think Monkey should have my DM now.
I got it through Discord. I saw it pop in and click.
Oh, you're cutting up a bit.
And I can boo you whenever I want.
Don't boo me. That's racist. Probably.
People of color.
Yeah. What's odd about this is that they were going back to court to be sentenced.
Right.
So it kind of doesn't really make sense in my mind that any, whether it was jurors or whether it was judges, whether they would be impacted. And another thing is, Tommy was streaming to Facebook at the time. Now, I don't believe that jurors or judges are allowed to have their mobile phones in court. So I don't really see how his live stream could have manipulated anybody or changed their stance either way.
Having served on a jury a couple of times here and on a murder case once, I've told the story about that murder case before. If they're really worried about it, they tell you not to watch TV, not to watch any news, so that you're not influenced by what you see as part of the jury. And in extreme cases, if it would be really hard to stay away from news, if it's a really like a national case or something, they'll sequester the jury and, and put them in rooms where there's no TVs or anything like that. And make them stay in hotel rooms and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, it just, with the freedom of the press that they have here, it just is odd because the things that he's being jailed for are things that we see commonly every day today when we flip on the TV. The press, being right outside the courtroom in the hallways, trying to interview people coming out.
Yeah, I know it's insane. I know that it's very different to obviously America. The thing is that we do have gag orders on court cases in this country. It does happen. There clearly wasn't one on Tommy's case today, obviously, because the media were on it like tramps on chips. I guess it was just the sensitive nature of those two particular court cases because they were Muslim rape gang cases.
Yeah. Even one, I'm still getting server errors, dude. So, sorry.
I think my Twitter is back up to full functionality. I have sent Monkey the DM. It says that it's gone through. So, yeah, I know it's insane. I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah, if I remember rightly, I'm sure Monkey will correct me on this. He was sentenced to, what was it, 6 months?
It's 9 months, but he's going to be like 10 weeks because of all the other times that he spent in jail.
No, it's not that. I think the sentencing was 9 months. With time served and good behavior, it comes down to around, what was it, 9.5 weeks in total that he'll serve. Yeah. Which isn't too bad, but there's a big but with this. And he cannot lie about it.
Cannot lie.
Is that if he's forced into a large Muslim populated prison, he will be forced to put himself into solitary confinement. And we saw what happened last year.
Yep.
During the summer, he'll be sweating, barely eating, because the prison guards were like saying, "Oh, I'm going to spit in your food, Tommy. How does that sound?" So he wouldn't eat his food, and like he was surviving on like tins of tuna and stuff like that, and just drinking water. And sweating.
Monkey says 6 months for this, 9 months total for this, and the previous 19 months with time served, at least 9.5 weeks must be served.
Yep.
Yes. So yeah, good behavior.
Yeah. Because Tommy's a good boy.
Well, not according to the course.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, like Monkey and Maddie and I, Americans watching this are scratching our heads like, what? That's just really strange.
Well, so when we discussed this the first time, it hit media, and Bear was keeping up with it, and a whole bunch of other people from the UK were keeping up with it. I said it then, and I'm saying it now. I kind of agree with their law of no filming as people are coming in and out of the courtroom, because the people that are in these cases and having these cases heard are fucking stressed enough. There's enough crap going on for this, a 3-ring circus to be outside this building every time you walk in and out. And no matter what happens, it's going to affect, to a certain extent, the jury, all the shit that's going on outside.
According to the judge, whoever judge is hearing whatever particular case, they can close the courtroom.
Yeah.
But the press will still be outside in the hallways or out on the steps trying to get interviews.
Yep. I mean, that, and then you have the problem of it's hard. It's getting increasingly difficult, virtually difficult nowadays, to have like a murder trial or some sort of, armed robbery trial or anything, because you have everybody on social media talking about what happened and who might be involved and who did this and who might do that. So you have all this speculation swirling around these cases before they even walk into a courtroom nowadays.
Yep. And on that note, I've made it this far, but I'm going to have to go to the bathroom.
So. Yes. Of course.
I'll be right back.
Of course. And yeah, Devil Fruit Zero, I'm not sure whether it falls underneath the Geneva Convention, but it would obviously certainly fall under human rights laws and your rights as a prisoner. But it's prison, like there's no other way to police it, dude. You know how prison is. You've seen it in the movies. You hear about it in the news. Cases of abuse. I mean, Tommy's been he's been abused and harassed by the establishment for a very long time now. Yep. So it would not surprise me if they tampered with his food, or even if they didn't tamper with his food, but were just saying things to him. That's enough for him, like being in a solitary confined cell, being paranoid.
Yeah. I mean, he has every reason to be. They don't like him. It doesn't matter what he does or doesn't do. He's already been demonized in their eyes. They don't like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's hated in this country. He's hated by a lot of people. And it didn't take much for our police, the guys who are supposed to be investigating crimes and catching criminals, to harass him and his family going into restaurants and stuff.
Yeah, and then on a side note, you're going to shake your head about this, but this was months ago when it first came out with Tommy. I was playing Star Trek Online with 2 of my friends, and one of them decided, just for shits and giggles, to change the name of his starship to the Tommy Robinson. Somebody reported his account for offensive content.
Of course they did. Just a mere mention of the name. And James, no. My answer to that would be no. Riot, yes. Civil War, no.
I mean,
it would take.
What are we talking about? Civil War?
Of course, you'd walk in when we're talking about that.
Right?
Just because you were there for the first one. I'm not talking about the American Civil War. I'm talking about the English Civil War. No, James is asking about Civil War if he dies. No, there'll be riots, but there won't be a Civil War.
Yeah.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, all the content on the Bloodwing channel is made possible by viewers like you. Please click on the Streamlabs link or send them a super chat. I can't talk. In order to support the channel, share it out. Like if you haven't liked it yet. If you hit that dislike button, we're not responsible for what Papa says. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and hit that bell for whatever good it does.
Yeah, as long as it's kept within reason, I don't mind the dislikes. I mean, I know there's one that is going to hit that dislike every time. It don't bother me. I know it's all in jest. And even if it wasn't, if you don't like what I got to say, screw you. It's my stream. I'll say what I want. That's just the way I am.
Yeah.
But,
I was like, I had to block my first person on Facebook the other day because I shared something about Colin Kaepernick. It is no secret to people that know me that I cannot stand that asshole. Okay,
and me either.
And the guy started talking. The guy that used to be my friend, very close friend to me, started saying about the oppression thing in the high school and all this and slavery and all this crap and the fact that how we wouldn't be worth much back under that flag, talking about the Betsy Ross flag and the shoe shit. And all I said was, "It's a joke." He goes, "How is this funny?" I said, "Are you going to keep bludgeoning me over shit that I think is funny?" He goes, "Until you post something that's funny, yes, I'll keep bludgeoning you." So I blocked him. You just threatened to harass me for everything that I post.
I haven't been on Facebook in forever. I do have an account. It's a personal account under my real name, so no, I won't share it with you all. But there's a reason. Remember that most of my family are also rednecks. And some of those rednecks are white trash rednecks. So I have no desire to be on my Facebook.
Can we talk about the social media summit?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I'm just sifting through the hashtag right now.
Oh, you mean they let it go? Oh, sorry.
There's a post here that's been retweeted by a chap called Peter Dawu. He's a war survivor, former Clinton and Kerry advisor. Well, anyway, he's retweeted this thing. Oh, where's it gone? Don't be a silly sausage, for fuck's sake. There it is. It's not a social media summit. It's an alt-right summit.
Yeah, I've seen that stuff.
Yeah, I got one post here. Twitter goes down in the middle of the White House conference on social media. Nothing to see here. Wow.
Yeah, I've seen that stuff. And the person that we were talking about earlier on Twitter that we said we wouldn't name has took that tack on the issue.
Let's have a look at this cancer. All right. Alt-right summit, my hoop. Trump invites right-wing extremists. Yeah, Tim Pool, that right-wing extremist, to White House social media summit. A conspiracy theorist, a meme creator, and a plagiarist. What? Those are just some of the eyebrow-raising attendees who will descend on the White House on Thursday for an event that will likely become a forum for airing claims of anti-conservative social media bias, which is true. President Trump is calling it a social media summit. Tim Pool is a lot of things, but he's not all right.
No.
President Trump is calling it a social media summit. The White House did not extend invites to representatives from Facebook or Twitter. Well, of course he didn't. They've been getting their asses handed to them by other members of the House and the Senate, haven't they?
Right.
In addition to inviting leaders from traditional conservative think tanks such as the Heritage Foundation and Claremont Institute, the White House has requested the presence of far-right internet personalities and trolls. Can you guess what outlet I'm reading from right now?
Oh, it's hard to say.
CNN. It's from
Yeah.
CNN, yeah.
I mean, but there were so many that, could have been Vice, it could have been Salon, it could have been...
Yeah, it could have been Vox or anything,
yeah.
Who have pushed conspiracy theories, lies, and misinformation. And I hate this phone. It's perhaps the clearest example yet of President Trump legitimizing fringe political allies. The White House has repeatedly declined to release a list of people it expects to attend. But some of the recipients have turned to social media to boast about being invited. Among them are Bill Mitchell, a radio host who has promoted the extremist QAnon conspiracy theory on Twitter. I remember that. Carp Donctum, an anonymous troll who won a contest put on by the fringe media organization InfoWars for an anti-media meme, and Ali Alexander, an activist who attempted to smear Senator Kamala Harris by saying she is not an American black following the first Democratic presidential debates. Other eyebrow-raising attendees include James O'Keefe, the guerrilla journalist whose group Project Veritas tried to trick reporters at the Washington Post by planting a source who told the paper that she had been impregnated as a teenager by failed Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore. Charlie Kirk, yeah, shut up. Benny Johnson, who used to work for BuzzFeed but got fired because plagiarism. Well, yeah, he's alt-right, isn't he? It doesn't mention Tim Pool, I think.
You know what? And I'm not sure it's politically a good idea, but I don't blame Trump if he doesn't invite some of these, like CNN and the rest of them, because they're garbage to him. So why would he want to invite them? I mean, as a person, I can understand it. You know, if you're having a get together as an individual, do you invite the guy that you know is going to come and insult you and be nasty?
Yeah. And even if they were nice to your face, they'd be lying about you.
Yeah.
As soon as they go back and write up their articles.
So, I have a hard time blaming him for this. It might be a better political move if he opened it up to the others, but hey, I can understand it.
Yeah, it's very odd how Twitter goes down during the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not a conspiracy theorist guy, but it's just pretty convenient timing, isn't it? Or inconvenient, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, it's a little tinfoil hatty.
But I don't think they did it. It was done on purpose. Honestly, I don't. But if I found out that it was, I wouldn't be terribly shocked.
I don't think anybody would. Oh, I just got off the phone. I muted myself because Ronan called. He's been having a problem with the truck that they gave him. Not all the lights was working when he hooked it up to a trailer. They said they had fixed it when they really didn't fix it. So he called me to tell me that they gave him what equates to a brand new truck with only 52,000 miles on it.
Well,
yeah,
and for a truck, that's not a lot, really.
Yeah, for a semi, that's a fairly new truck. That and the fact that he's. I know he loves that badge that says he's a 2 million mile safe driver because he's been working his ass off. He deserved that.
Yeah.
So
good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, he's on his way home. And for those of you guys that have been keeping up with my Twitter, little Ruby Sue is back to herself 100%, trying to bug me while I'm working, having the zoomies.
The pirate dog?
Yep.
Every time I see pictures of your dog, that's what I think of. She's a pirate.
Yeah. As soon as I can, I'm either going to have somebody to make one or I'm going to order like a doggy eye patch and just put it on there. Because somebody coined the phrase Ruby Sue the pirate pooch and it kind of stuck.
Well, it's that time of the live stream where I need to go tinkle.
Okay. All right.
Well, give us a minute.
What, you can go now? We can cover it.
No, you can't.
The live stream will last. It won't fold.
No, I'm putting my feet back on. I took them off for the live stream. There we go.
So you can take your feet off? That's weird.
That's what I say. I'm putting my socks and shoes back on. There we go. Right. I shall return.
All right. And I'm sure Bear already done that. But hey, chat, how you doing? I haven't checked in with you the whole stream. So I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. There's 67 of you watching now. So some of you must be enjoying something. Must be doing something right.
Right?
It always, and I'm not joking, it amazes me that there's 67 people that even care what this old redneck has to say. But yeah, hope you're doing well. And as Pat says, backhand that like button, y'all. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, most
Uh,
definitely.
but yeah, I know I talked about it at the head of the stream, but man, it's been a couple of days for this old man. I think I'm still recovering.
It's been a week for us and little Ruby Sue because he didn't realize when he bought the food that there was chicken in the food and she's allergic.
Oh my.
So we were trying to figure out why she was sick and why she was doing stuff she wasn't normally doing, which is, peeing in the living room when she didn't normally do that. And then I'm like, let me look up the ingredients because we have a container we put her food in. And sure as shit, first three ingredients was beef and two different types of chicken in it.
Oh my.
And I'm like, oh.
Cynic, you're not my real mom. Don't make me pull this internet over because I will. I will. Uh, yeah, we used to have a dog. He's been long gone now. But he had all kinds of, heck, he was allergic to grass for Pete's sake. And he was diabetic, but he was a good dog. And his name was, believe it or not, his name was Tom Dooley. Like the song, Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley. And that's exactly how he got his name, because when he was a puppy, he would wander around with his head all hung low, looking all sad and stuff for some reason.
Yeah.
And so Dad named him Tom Dooley. But he had a lot of special needs. A lot of
Yeah.
special needs.
This is the first dog I've ever gotten with an allergy. And also the first dog that likes vegetables that I've ever had, because my other dogs didn't do fruits or vegetables. She will eat the hell out of a carrot.
Yeah.
Well, how?
Howdy. Yeah, Dooley would too. And in fact, that's part of how he become diabetic, because he would sneak into mom's candy bowl. My mom and dad were old fashioned, so there was a candy dish on the coffee table,
Yeah.
with little pieces of candy, and he'd sneak into that when we were sleeping, eat the candy. Uh, and that dog loved orange slices, real orange slices. You could peel an orange and take it apart, and he would eat the orange slices. I've never seen a dog that liked fruit,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, but the only thing that we have to work on her with is the person that had her before she went into the foster system for dogs used to keep her in a crate most of the time.
yeah,
And she's not even a year yet. She'll be a year the 1st of August, which means I'm the one that has to work with her to train her on how to be at the door, how to socialize with people and other animals. So it's a challenge to get her to do that. But some of the people here in the apartment complex are like, once I explain it, they're like, oh yeah, they'll walk up and let her sniff them and stuff like that, because she's not used to any of that.
yeah. Well, my youngest daughter's dog. A lot of you know that for a while we kept her here for about 6 months when they first moved back from Hawaii, because they couldn't keep her where they first moved to. They had to get a place where they could keep her.
Yeah.
And so we kept her here, and we had her carrier that she come over on the aircraft from Hawaii on. And it was funny because I guess in Hawaii, whenever she would get, because she's pretty hyper, when she'd get too much to handle and would misbehave and wouldn't listen, they'd put her in her carrier for a little bit until
Yeah.
she calmed down. Anytime I'd have to yell at her for doing something she shouldn't do, she'd run and get in that carrier. It's like,
Like, I
oops,
get
I'm in
it.
trouble now.
Right, I'm grounded.
But I would never lock her into. I didn't have the heart.
Yeah.
That carrier never got shut from the moment I let her out of it when we first got her home.
Yeah. Well, what was funny was we realized something when we went to do the meetup with Sage and them in north of Texas.
Yeah.
Was she's got a crate here that I only put her in when I leave the apartment. And I would always have to coax her to go in. Well, since I knew we were going to be away for several hours, having dinner and talking to them and stuff, I had the idea of putting one of the sheets from Ronan's bed into the little carrier. So I did that. I left the door open, and we look around and we don't see Ruby anywhere. And then we look in the carrier, and she had gotten in there voluntarily and laid down like, okay, it smells like daddy. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. The next 6 minutes for the donation. Fist bumps all around. Hope everybody is well. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing good. Doing good. Can't complain. But yeah. I mentioned on Twitter, I've been really wanting a dog lately. I can't have one here. It's in the lease. He was kind enough to let us keep my daughter's dog for 6 months. We did inform him of it. It's the least we could do. But and I honestly, I can't afford a dog right now. I can't afford the proper care for one, and that'd just be unfair for the dog.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't stop me from really wanting one. I could use the company because my wife works nights. She's gone from 8 o'clock in the evening till 5 o'clock in the morning, and there's just me in the house. I could use the company.
Yeah.
But
It's like we knew we were going to get one, and before he found this local position where he's home 2 nights a week, or 2 days a week rather, he's like, "You're there by yourself." And when we first got the apartment, I'm like, we were jam packed in a small cab for like months. I like the space. I like the quiet. This is nice. And after a while, the quiet and the nice became shit. There's nobody to talk to. I'm going nuts.
well, yeah, that's the way we were. I mean, we had a house full when the grandkids were here. We only got a 2-bedroom home, so it was cramped here, and it was nice for the first little bit, but it didn't take long before I look over at my wife and I said, you know what? It's too quiet. It's too quiet around here. I'm used to rugrats running around screaming all the time. Speaking of the meetup, how did that go?
Oh, it was great. He is tall.
Who, Timmy?
Timmy. He's tall and he's big. He's like this really big teddy bear.
Yeah, well, he strikes me as that.
He's a really nice guy. And
his name is Tim. I call him Timmy. I don't know if everybody can get away with that, but I call him Timmy.
Skep Talk took us up there, and he's another really nice guy. You and him would probably be able to stream for hours talking about history and war and airplanes.
Streamed with Skep one time. Him and another person got all off on this philosophy stuff, and I'm like, I went brain dead for half the stream because that's not my thing. But yeah, I like Skeppy.
Yeah, I got to see Shaggy's littlest one. Because Shaggy went too, and so did Adelaide. So I got to meet Shaggy and Addie too, and they're a hoot.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to talk him into coming down here when he was going, because he did go through Indiana. He went through Santa Claus, Indiana. Yes, there's a Santa Claus, Indiana. And
Americans and your crazy names.
Oh, it's done up just like like the tradition says the North Pole is. The whole town, and there's actually an amusement park there called Holiday World. But it's a quaint little tourist trap.
Well, it's like my mom when she had only been not even a year in Minnesota after she sold everything she needed to do to move in, go up there with Dad. She calls me and we're on the phone and she goes, oh yeah, there's a St. Olaf. I said, there's a St. Olaf, Minnesota? She goes, yes. And yes, if you sneeze, you miss it.
Yeah, Santa Claus, Indiana isn't huge.
Yeah.
But it is quaint. It's quaint. It's a tourist trap, but it's quaint. But yeah, we're in that time of the stream, guys. We've got about 7 minutes left. Certainly, we'll keep talking here, but you ask questions. You got it's question time. So, everything come out all right, Bear?
Pardon?
Did everything come out all right?
Yeah, of course did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The social media summit is being streamed right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Diamond the Silk are there. Joy Villa, who follows me, by the way, is also there. That's another person that follows me. That's 1 degree of separation. I'm betting the Sargon.
Come to think about it, I don't doubt what Trump. I would not put it past Trump to have set this up the way he did, just to troll all the rest of them.
Right?
Yeah.
I
just heard him make a joke about his own hair. So
yeah. it's it would not. I wouldn't put it past him
Mm.
because if there's one thing we know about Trump now, or we should know by this point, he's a huge troll. Huge.
He
Mhm.
is our shit lord in chief. Dun, dun.
And that's the one thing. That's one of the things I love about him. I'm not a, I'm not on the Trump train. I don't own a MAGA hat and all that stuff, but I do like that he's a troll and not afraid to be unpresidential at times.
Yeah.
Although he does need somebody there 24/7 to tell him, no, Mr. President, don't hit the send button.
Yeah. Or to write his, because off the cuff, oh my God, no. He doesn't need to do anything off the cuff. That just needs to be written for him because he goes off more tangents than I do, and I have ADD. Eventually I get back to the, but he just keeps going.
And cynical Lindsay says, well, you're more than welcome to join Irate Prostate and I sometime to talk music. Yeah, actually, I don't know what happened to it, but he hit me in Twitter DMs sometime back asking if I wanted to do a stream about the band Rush because he knows I'm a big fan. Haven't heard anything since, but yeah. If depending on when it is and if I'm awake and available, yeah. Oh, which reminds me, there is a chance that I may miss another stream day sometime next week, and I'm not sure what day yet. My dad has a doctor's appointment. It's for he. My dad has rheumatoid arthritis, severe rheumatoid arthritis,
Ooh.
and he has to go through every now and again. He has to go through these. They're like injections, but it takes 4 hours to do.
Ah.
Ah.
And so for 4 hours, I'll be sitting in the doctor's office. I don't know exactly what day it is and what time it is. It's in the morning sometime. So if that happens to be on a stream day, I may not make the stream that day. I'll try to get the word out again on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll retweet you, provided you DM me.
I hate that that's it. Usually my infusions. Thank you, Cynic. Yes, that's what it is. My brother-in-law generally takes him to these appointments, but he's not able to take him. My brother-in-law works for the local school district. He works on their phones and computer systems and all that stuff. And this is a busy time for them because it's summertime. So anything that's broke, they try to get it fixed while school's out of session. And
Good
this is his
call.
really busy time, so he just can't get off to taking. But I thought I better, while I was reminded, I better mention that ahead of time. I would have mentioned the whole thing with my wife, but I didn't know about it. She didn't find out till like late Friday, and I forgot about it on Saturday. It was a last minute thing. So, and Cynic says he has his next week. Yeah, good luck, dude. I know it takes a while. The worst part about this, and I wish he wouldn't take it. I get it that it helps with his pain, and I feel so bad for him because I know he's got to be in massive pain. He's one of them people that you see that have claws for hands. He has it so bad.
Yeah.
But the thing is it tends to give you, oh, what is that disease? Cynic might have to jump in here. It tends to affect pancreatitis, and he's had that because of it, and that set off his dementia big time,
Ooh.
big time. So I'm really not looking forward to it. But anyway,
Yeah.
any other? Cynical says, I've got to talk to him about that. I remember him mentioning the idea of doing a Rush retrospective type stream, which I'm totally game since they're one of my faves too. Yeah. Depending on the time and the day, I'm down for it. You get me talking about Rush or any classic rock, as you guys know, I'll go forever. Deck Train says that Maddie, you should do a cooking stream with Satsu.
I will talk to you about that, but I issued Satsu a challenge a couple of weeks ago after I get everything set up, and he said he would, because not only am I going to do, when I have my kitchen set up, cooking videos, I am going to start writing the recipes down on my geek blog, and I challenged Satsu to do the recipes that I put up on my blog, sort of like to sneakily get traffic over there. And he
Necros-
said that he was game.
Necrosol says Russia's trash. Well, that's a matter of opinion. They're not for everybody, you know. As is most progressive rock. It's not for everybody. It's a personal thing. But especially their older stuff, I happen to really enjoy. But at any rate, having said that, it is now that time.
Mm.
Yeah. Next, all you laugh. You're not going to trigger me over not liking the music that I like. That's not one thing that you're going to trigger me over. But anyway, it's that time to end the stream. And I'm so glad to be back at it. There was just something missing all week because I didn't stream Tuesday. It just really was. It just felt like something was off.
Yeah.
But thanks everybody for coming out, supporting the stream with your presence, your views, your likes, your comments, all that stuff. Thanks for the donations. Thank you as always, Bear, for coming out. Anything you want to shout out?
I uploaded a video yesterday to the main channel, response to BBC Three, vegan stuff. Go check that out, guys. I would be able to show my latest one on R8 Alex, but it's been demonetized, so I have to wait.
Yeah. Stinking YouTube.
Right.
Maddie, thanks for joining us. Anything you want to shout out?
On my Maddie's House of Geek, I have 2 movie trailer reactions, one for Charlie's Angels and one for Mulan. I did the Mulan one a little different because I actually read the story of Mulan, and I compare the animated version to the live action trailer. So
Well, there you go. And as for me, again, I'm going to mention I'm getting a little excited about this next episode of Redneck Trek. Going to attempt to make it technically better, and so forth. And some of the ideas I have in mind, I'm excited to see how they work out. So if you like Redneck Trek, keep your eye out for this one because I think it's going to get even better. And just a heads up, another thing that is in store, there is a mandated uniform change that Billy Joe Bob makes an order. So let's keep an eye out for that. But anyway, it's time to end this. I'm starting to lose my voice anyway. And as always, get out of my yard.
Bye, guys.
bye.